Welcome to Creating Success in the Mess, where we talk about just that, creating success in the mess of this thing we call life.
We're your hosts, Corey and Whitney, a husband and wife team that does life and business together.
In this podcast, we share our struggles and funny moments as we have journeyed growing our family, our faith, and businesses.
We share inspiration, motivation, and practical tips and tricks to help you build yourself and a life you love.
We invite you to join us every week on the podcast, and we can't wait to create success in the mess together. Okay, so today we have a personal topic that we're going to discuss.
I don't like talking about personal things. I want to talk about superficial things.
We don't talk about anything superficial.
We shouldn't.
We don't.
It'd be fake if we did talk about superficial things because we really want to get down to the deep of it.
Right.
So what's today's topic? I forgot.
So today's topic is everyone always. This is like the number one reoccurring question I always get. I don't know if you get it nearly as much as I do, but it seems like everybody that I come across is like amazed by the fact that we have been together so long. We have worked together every day, running businesses, and that we homeschool our kids, and we're still married.
We're with each other 24/7.
Essentially. Yeah. I mean, we, not really, but kind of, pretty much, yeah. Anyway, everything we do is intertwined, and we managed to have gone through all of these things in our life and have been together for, what is kind of considered a while now. And
we've been together so long, I can't even remember how long we've been together. That's the place, right?
That's right. To be quite frank, we're going on 17 years. I don't think I said that, but.
Is it 17?
Yeah. Anyway, so this is a question that everybody, I can be sitting here talking about something that I think is great and amazing, and everybody is like, I cannot believe that you guys do business together. I think that is so awesome that you guys, do all these things, and you've been together for, a long time, and you still are just doing these things together. How do you do that?
Yeah, people literally interrupt us in the middle of whatever it is that we're doing for our business with a client or a customer, whoever. They'll just stop in the middle and be wait, how'd you guys meet?
Yeah.
Or it's how do you guys continue doing all these things together and not actually want to kill each other?
Right. I get this question nearly in every conversation, and then it's always oh my gosh, that is so amazing. I think that is awesome. How do you do that? How did you guys do this? How do you do it? And to be honest with you, every time I get the question for the longest period of time, it frustrated me because I was I don't know how, okay?
So you're frustrated because you don't know how?
I have no answer to give. It's just it just kind of happened. I don't really know how. And then finally I was why am I getting frustrated when people are so intrigued by our relationship and our path and our story, and they find inspiration in it. They genuinely are so into it.
Yeah, I feel guilty sometimes because I'm people are looking at our relationship and going oh, you guys have something so special, and I'm
I don't know why.
Kind of feel bad because I didn't know we had something special. I thought we were just doing life. Yeah. Everyone's not like this?
No, then they ask you how, and you're I don't know, exactly. And so then, I started investigating, why is this so frustrating to me? And it was so frustrating, I think, to me because I felt I didn't know how to help them. I didn't know, what to say. We just did. We just were in flow. We just went with it. It was, it just seemed so natural. It's not something that necessarily we worked at. Now, don't get me wrong. We had to work at, working with each other sometimes. We totally have difficulties getting on the same raft sometimes.
Yeah, so as soon as I just say, okay, I'm on your raft, and it's all good, right?
We have to work through disagreements. There is work. I am not sitting here saying that there's not work to be done, but in the overview of it, it wasn't I worked to make anything be anything. It just kind of was what it was. And so when like people ask me, and I feel like I don't really have anything to say, and then I really like put a lot of like thought into it. So when people ask me, I have an answer to give. Like I felt, I really need to look at this and kind of like look back at it and in comparison to other things, why and what. And I do think like over, 17 years worth, things become clearer. And now as a mom, I am trying to teach my kids, we're not divorced. And so that's not something that they see in their direct family. And so like they're asking and learning about their friends or people that are divorced, and so like we're having to kind of come up with teaching moments in these like things. And when my daughter asked, well, why did they get divorced? Like, are you and dad gonna get divorced? Why didn't you guys get divorced? Our kids,
because they're like, is this normal? Is this just things people do?
Like our kids don't just be like, oh, okay, and walk on. Like, like they question and understand things.
Yeah,
which means
our kids are free range chickens, and we did it this way. Like
right.
And my parents will be like, wow, because in my household you didn't speak unless you were spoken to. And so like when my parents come down and they'll be like, man, your kids have a lot to say. And when they talk so mature from their age. And I'm like, yeah, it was kind of built like that. And they're like, how did you do that? And it's like, we allow them to have an opinion and we validate that their opinions are right. And it's funny, I was raised...
And ask questions.
Yeah, I was raised not to be that, but obviously my parents, now that their kids are grown and everything, they look back and go, I wish we had done that with you guys. And my parents, to a degree, I think, because they probably kind of go back and forth, but I feel like my parents are like, I'm glad that your kids are able to speak their mind and have an opinion and feel like they're validated. Right. I think that's really important now.
Right. Neither one of us were raised like that. And that is definitely something that we are doing with our kids.
And sometimes I wish we didn't do that so much because my kids have an opinion on everything. I'm like, you know what? I said we're staying out of the street because there's cars coming. I don't need to have a 5-point presentation and answer all your questions why. It's dangerous. Get out of the street.
Yeah, you definitely are a little bit more. For me, like, I'm going to answer their questions because then they're going to fully understand and then they're going to stay out of the street. And I won't have to answer it again. Whereas sometimes, like, you say, get out of the street, I say, get out of the street, and then...
We'll talk about it later.
Then it's going to happen again because they still have questions and they're still learning. And like you said, I always say we are raising what the world would see as free-range chickens.
We don't have a farm yet, but at least we got chickens.
And, like, I have to say, I'm already out here, like, praying for whoever the other parents of the kids are that my kids are going to marry because, Lord, please let them be able to handle these free-range chickens.
I don't understand why you have to pray for that. They're going to end up with the right people, right?
Yeah, but those parents, I just feel like I should be like giving them some extra support from a distance.
Our kids are not going to end up with caged animals.
No, I know that. I'm praying for the parents out there that are also raising free-range chickens that feel like they could pull their hair out, or maybe they should be doing it different. Like, no, I need you to keep raising your free-range chickens while I raise my free-range chickens, and we both need to have the support of each other to raise these kids up.
This is called law of attraction. What we are doing is
topic.
We are calling in 3 other couples that are just like us. See, when we retire and our kids are all grown and we're going to have grandkids, we take them fishing and stuff, we're going to have all of our in-laws that are just like us.
That's right. We could build a free-range compound.
We'll have like a utopian community. And people will be like, these freaking wackos out here in the outskirts and countryside, man, like, don't go out there. Stick to your 9 to 5. Do what's best. Do what the system says to do. Don't live like them. Look how happy and smiley they are. You want to be like that? Are you sure? Or would you rather be devastated waking up at 8 a.m. going to work on Monday? Do that.
Right.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Free-range chicken, it's the way to go.
Right. Anyway, long story short, back to the real topic.
It doesn't have to be short. So the topic. So what? How
Yeah.
did we meet, or how do we do this freaking shit life together?
Yeah.
Which one?
Everyone's like, how do you do all this life together and still stay together? And
I don't know what your answer is to this. I have an answer, but
Okay.
I'm not sure what your answer is.
no, I've like struggled with coming up with an answer, and I've done a lot of like thinking and thought processing and whatever. And I think I got most of it from what I'm teaching my kids. And so you go ahead and you speak, sir, and then I'll go.
So something about me and Whitney that is true about each of us individually is we always have a willingness to grow. I feel like if you have a closed mind, it's going to create fences to become offended.
Yeah.
And when you're in a relationship with anyone, if both people have a growth mindset and ability to grow, they're willing to compromise things to mesh for a greater goal and grow together. And I feel like that's how we've always been. Mm-hmm. When we're in alignment with who we truly are and who we want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely can let ego set in and say, I might want to do X, Y, and Z, and you'll be kind of like, look at me like, that's dumb as hell. First off, Corey, that's not even who you are. Are you sure you want to do that? Like, why is that making you jealous? I mean, I'm not jealous. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like it's our willingness to want to grow, and because we both want to grow,
We grow together.
right, we got our tomato plant and our cucumber plant together.
Right. And I think we can go back even further when.
Wait. Are you saying I'm correct? I'm right?
Yes.
Yes. Gentlemen, husbands, fathers, we gotta win.
Anyway, I think we can go back further. When we first met, we were in college, and quite frankly, we were in different places.
We're definitely in a season of really looking back at our 20s.
Yeah, and I think, one, maybe that's natural at this point in age. I don't know. But two, I think our kids are growing up, and so we're kind of like looking at, where they're going to go and in relation to where we were.
All of our kids are pretty much 8 years old or older, so we pretty much, the personalities are there.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of have a good idea of who their base person is.
Right.
Yeah.
So I look back and I think when we met, we were really we really were in different places, but where we met at work, essentially at our college job.
Retail, baby.
And so at that time,
I was like, you were this. Did you sell shoes? All I know is I folded sheets and did pillows. That's all I know I did.
yeah, you were in linens, and
Linens.
I was the lead of home goods and shoes.
You were my boss?
Yes, I did
Shoot.
2 departments. You just did one little section of mine.
I can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah, I've been your boss since we met, bro. Anyway,
It works good that way.
so we were working the same job at the same place, but we were at totally different places.
Oh, yeah.
Like for me, I had just gone through like a breakup with my college boyfriend, and I was like thought
High
they
school
were-
going into college, boyfriend.
Oh, that's what I meant. High school. I said college. Yeah.
You mean not all high school sweethearts get married?
No, it didn't. It didn't work out.
So you're saying you weren't the exact same person you were when you were 16?
No. So we had just gone through this breakup, and I was just kind of, dark and depressing and I was like, F men and F this, and I'm going to be single, and I'm not going to, I was not interested in anything. And probably honestly in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, maybe it'll work out. Everything will, just give it some time and then we'll get back together, blah, blah, blah.
But then,
I was not interested at all. And you were Mr. Fraternity
Yeah.
and Mr. Social. I was not interested in being
here came the frat boy walking in July.
Yeah, I was totally
Annoyed.
totally annoyed. That's what when our kids asked us how'd you meet? Whatever. I was like, he was the most annoying.
Just obnoxious.
I was like, oh my God, are you gonna talk anymore? One, I don't like men right now, and two, you don't shut up.
And everything that was coming out of my mouth was probably how can I impress the living shit out of this girl that's so freaking hot right now?
And I didn't like men at that point, and you were trying to be overly
Impressive and pleasing and overachieving.
but it was
and,
not. It was not
yeah.
what would be impressive to
Just
a
came off
female.
as a pompous, cocky a-hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I wasn't interested. And then, over time, we worked together every day.
Yeah, you can only be fake for so long.
Yeah. And so you stopped that. And I kind of started coming out of my, distraught, like brokenhearted, like whatever
And I
situation.
came to pick up my paycheck in some Hollister jeans and a t-shirt.
And
wearing
I was
a
like,
baseball cap.
He actually looks kind of cute. And I was like, what in the world? How could you just be like, he actually looks kind of cute? You've been walking around saying like he's so annoying, but it was just whatever it was. But I had come out of my funk, and you had kind of just like, it was the pressure of like anything was just totally gone, and we were just working and getting to know each other. And at that point, I was like, there was these other people that were wanting to hang out with me and date me and whatever, and you were kind of like doing your fraternity life thing, and we were just kind of like friends at work, and like we laughed and we talked and we got along just fine, as friends at work, and we were kind of going about our life in separate ways. But the key was like we were friends, and we were friends, and we lived our separate little lives while we were friends for months. It wasn't
several months.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't hang out outside of work either, but
No.
it was just all work related friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
But we worked together every day because we were high achievers, and we worked
We had to pay our bills, bro.
it wasn't like there was a whole ton of workers, and they could basically just staff our department with us because that's how we are. We're just A plus go getters, get the job done.
You could do it all, and you were the only person that could tell me what to do.
Exactly.
Because I didn't let anyone else tell me what to do.
So all they needed was the two of us, and we could run half the store.
Right.
Yeah. So we worked every day, and then we would go home, and then you did your thing, and we would go, to class, and then we would go to work. And that's what we did every day. And so like we developed this like genuine know, like, and trust in an totally unpressured way.
Yeah.
Long before there was ever any pressure of the dating, like romantic, like type of like, all of that comes into it whenever you're dating someone. None of that was there. Our foundation was solely formed off of a know, like, and trust. And during that phase of the, in the foundation, in the friendship zone, or I call the friendship the foundation, really. We like really started to learn about each other, who the true each other was, like at that time.
What we wanted in life too.
And we found like compatibilities. We both enjoyed going to thrift stores. We both enjoyed adventure. We both were creative. Like these foundational things were there. So, I have to say, like, I think that the foundation of actual compatibility and like who we are, that was developed during the friendship zone.
Right.
Without the pressure of if we're going to break up or not, I think is like huge.
Well, you could say whatever, and it was kind of like you weren't going to break up because one person said something.
No, right. And then, so I think that was like huge and key. And so like I always tell my kids, if you're hanging out at a bar, that means that you enjoy and like the bar. And so if you meet somebody that's hanging out at the bar, then you have to know who they are outside of the bar. Because if you're using that place as, a social place to go find fish, right? Well, then once you hook the fish, you're going to have to figure out what kind of fish this is. What is this fish like? Like what,
Right.
Otherwise you're not going to know. And so if you like know who you are and what you like, and you can hang out in those places, the odds are that you're going to find somebody else hanging out in those places that also like and value these like things that you do are so much higher, and your compatibility factor just increases by the places that you're playing in.
Right.
You can develop that know, like, and trust way faster.
Right.
So I feel like, I think it was just like, I think that we were in the places we were in because that's where we were supposed to be, because that's, we were supposed to be
Right.
there to meet each other. And then 2, I think we created the foundation of really understanding and knowing each other, and we have a lot of things in common.
Yep.
And then I think at that point we have the willingness to grow, and so we do grow together. And I'm not talking about just in like achievements in our life, like I'm talking about self-growth, our ideas and our perspectives and our mindset and our beliefs. We don't believe everything the same. We don't have every idea or perspective the same. We have disagreements, but it's that we are okay in your belief or idea being yours and mine being mine. And there's like this respect there. And so when we get into business and we have these disagreements or these different opinions or different ideas, ultimately our foundation is there that we are okay respecting yours, that being different from mine.
Yeah. And when we kind of discovered these things with each other when we were working, we both liked each other at this point, but we didn't know if the other person liked the other person for more of a relationship. Right. Because so it was kind of like...
No, this is kind of a funny story. Somebody that worked at the same store was going to set me up on like a blind date at Starbucks.
Freaking Linda in ladies department. Thank you, Linda.
A blind date with somebody else that she knew. And we were going to go meet a Starbucks or something. Like, I don't know. We were going to go meet somewhere. And Corey, caught wind of this and could not get past it. And he was like, oh my gosh, you cannot do that. What if he's a serial killer? What if you tell me the day and the time that you're going to go meet, and I'll just be there, sitting over there watching in case, and then he's like, I'll just be hanging out. And I remember telling my mom this whole, story, and she was like, oh, he likes you. He likes you. And I was like, no, he doesn't. It's just I don't know. It could be a bad situation, I guess. I never really thought of it. And she was like, no, he likes you. And then my sister-in-law at that time was like, are you serious? This is clear as day. Then it started getting does he like me? What? Type of thing.
Yeah.
When in reality, you were totally jealous. And you just wanted to go. You probably would have came and sat your butt right there and,
I
started talking.
How dare you be here with another man, Patricia? And you're like, why did you do that? Oh, I don't know. I just felt like, I felt like he was bad. You know what I mean? That's the only way I knew how to get him out of here.
Anyway, so.
It was a little bit different, though, because I still didn't know, so you knew that I liked you, but I didn't yet know if you liked me.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and then, I think I was dating a girl, and I was kind of I think I was talking about her, and you essentially were kind of like,
yeah, you were talking about her, something about her, and I was like, and then, Corey, do you really think this is going to work out? You don't think that way. Right. I don't think this is going to work out. So, everybody, to answer the question, right? I don't think that necessarily, I think it's amazing because, we are married, but in all honesty, in any partnership that you have, whether it's in business or as friends or in a marriage, it's all the same foundation. I mean, you can't be a business partner with somebody and not value them or understand them or have a no, like, and trust with them or,
What society calls a marriage is what we call the legal public announcement of two people legally being bound together. We were married well before that. I mean, we understood where we wanted to go and what we wanted in life. We were, when people are like, oh, when did you guys get married? And we tell, really, it's we've been married this long, but technically we've been together this long. And really our marriage date was established, I would almost just say the day we decided we were boyfriend and girlfriend. Because we had developed our relationship and understood each other prior to that. We were pretty much bought in. And we were like, yeah, this is a go.
No, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, today we run business together. We have businesses that we run together. And we, are raising these kids together. But, before we were ever legally married in the sense of what the world wants to define it, then we were doing things together, which was a partnership, which is a marriage. And so we have long term doing things together, experiencing, having foundations and growing and experiencing things together. And so I think when people get so amazed by how we do this, I think it's just because it seems so amazing in the sense of the way that the world defines marriage. And if you took all that away and you just looked at it, it's just a friendship and a partnership that, we've had long term, that we've done and grown and experienced things with long term. And we could maybe not be in a marriage per se and just be business partners, doing, all of this over long terms through different business ventures or, going and fishing together or whatever it is. And it is the exact same thing. So when you have two men that have been business partners and friends for forever, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So when people get so amazed by it and they ask me, I've come to determine that it is no different than if it was the two men that go fishing and golfing and run business and, do all these things together. It's exactly the same thing. It just happens to have the legal definition of marriage on it.
Or if two people are trying to see if they're compatible before they even go into business together or do some kind of venture together, it's dating.
Right. And those two men that do that, and grow over time, they go through the same things we do. They have the same disagreements. They have the same, growth together. They experience things together. They have to honor the other person's ways, and you have to know each other's strengths and each other's weaknesses, and you have to be able to call people's crap out, and you have to be okay when they call their own crap out, or
accept when your crap is being called out.
Right. I mean, it just is what makes working with people work.
Yeah.
And I think that is literally the answer to when people ask me how do you guys manage to do this? That is what it is. That is 100% how we managed to do this. That is 100% how Joe and Bob managed to do it. And that is 100% how
Barbara and Grace.
Yeah, managed to do it. It just seems so different because of the title of marriage that is put on it. So when you see any successful combination of people, essentially you could title it a marriage.
Yeah, don't get stuck on titles because of the definition that was established by some kind of a societal norm.
Right.
Because when you truly 110% believe in what the societal norm definition is, then you begin to limit and restrict what it actually can do for you.
Right.
And understand that a marriage is just an agreement between two parties that they are fully committed and going to a common goal.
Right.
And that's it.
Yep. Yes. So if you are one of the people that has always looked at other people that are married that do business together or homeschool their kids or whatever it is and wondered how do they do that and how do they become successful at that, or if you are a husband and wife or whatever type of partnership and you are trying to do business together and it is difficult and hard and something's just not clicking, then I hope this helped. I hope that sharing our opinion of what we've gathered 17 years down this journey of doing this successfully and unsuccessfully at times. We've had both. It is no one wins all situation. We don't have all the answers. We still have hiccups and it wasn't we were just talking about why can't we seem to both get on the same raft. We are not working well together right now.
Well, and actually the true root of that is, which is a whole other podcast topic, is we actually, because we do so much together, we struggle venturing out to do things alone. And there's things that are for both of us to do that are alone. It doesn't require the other person to do it with them, but we've done so much together. Now we're in a season of life, it's we've developed our system a certain way that now we have other ventures and other opportunities that are here, and it's kind of a struggle.
Yeah.
So maybe next podcast, we'll talk about that and discuss that. And maybe it's not the next one, maybe it'll be down the road.
Right.
But when we're ready, we'll talk about can we do this?
That is a perfect example about what we were talking about, growing together and being okay with calling out the crap in the room, calling out the yucky, sticky parts, the uncomfortable parts. There's good and there's bad, and you have to recognize both of them so that you can, self-correct or help others correct. And so if you are like we are in any capacity, then we hope this kind of helped as we talked through it. And if you have any advice or suggestions about what you have found that is a key, success point or pivotal turning, I don't know, anything that you could share, then please share it, because I think that we all grow and we all become better whenever we speak openly and we actually learn and assess and create new ways and new ideas and form new paths. And I think that makes us stronger. And so I think that the key takeaway is just that. Be okay with new and growth and changing and being open to others and open to new ways for yourself. And then make sure that your foundation is compatible and strong and without the pressure. I think without pressure is everything. Thank you so much for listening. We know that we all get busy trying to do life, and our hope is that we can find ways to implement time and space to create a life we love living every day on our terms, right in the middle of all the messes of life.
We hope that you've been inspired and our conversation will help you in some way, and it would be so amazing if you shared this conversation with somebody that you think would really benefit from hearing it. You can text someone the link, or you can share it via email or on your social media pages. And please, we would love for you to leave us a review on whatever platform you are listening on, because it helps us so much. The more reviews we have, the more people that will find our show, and our ultimate goal is for everyone to feel inspired, to find ways to create their own success right in the middle of all the mess. And no, they are not alone in doing so.
And finally, we'd love for you to join our weekly email list so that we can connect on a deeper level and you can always be in the know of our new release events and opportunities.